Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I knew it was beautiful. I just didn't know how much it was worth.
Yeah.
This little vase has artistically satisfying looks. The guest inherited this vase from his grandparents. A quick glance at this item, we can deduce that it is of Japanese art heritage.
It's Japanese. It's more like a flower vase for just one flower.
One flower.
Yes.
This elegant vase was made by a famous Japanese artist of the 19th century, Ozeki, a name that can be seen below the vase. Further peek at this art piece, beside the vase we can see a signature by a famous Japanese man, Suzuki Katsuhiro. A special feature this vase possesses is from its name, Shibuichi, which means it is made of 25% gold balanced with bronze. In its pristine condition, this famous art piece of Japanese heritage would fetch
50,000, I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I knew it was beautiful. I just didn't know how much it was
Right.
worth.
This guest presented a dedicated vase on the show. She bought the vase from her sister's antique shop in Europe. This vase is more than meets the eye. It features a variety of arts and styles. It was crafted in the English arts and crafts ceramics style, manifesting the influences of the medieval guild, Renaissance and revival, and the European arts and crafts movement. Upon inspecting the vase, we can discern it is dated 1900 and was made by the Della Robbia Company.
A company from Cheshire, which was in operation from 1884 until 1901.
However, the artist's signature can't be traced to any known artist yet. At auction, this elaborately designed piece of pottery is estimated to be worth
Auction, I would evaluate the piece between $3,500 and $4,500.
Goodness.
This wristwatch is a cherished family treasure. The guest inherited it from her great-uncle after his demise.
It's a watch that belonged to my great uncle, and after he died, his wife sent it to me because I had named my son Robert, and that was my great uncle's name.
This watch is made by the Swiss luxury watch and clock manufacturer Patek Philippe, established in 1839 by its two founders, Antoine Patek and Adrien Philippe. Patek Philippe is widely considered to be one of the most prestigious watch manufacturers in the world and holds the title for the most expensive pocket watch ever sold at an auction. This watch represents a first-generation automatic self-winding model. It features an 18-karat gold rotor and was made in the early 1900s. It is presented in excellent condition and, being a first-generation automatic, is worth about
in the 10 to 15,000 range.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
The guest purchased the item at a flea market from a dealer specializing in American Indian artifacts. This item was part of a lot purchased for $1,200 to $1,500. The appraiser identified the item as Chinese, not American Indian. The centerpiece of the item is a jade panel set in a silver bangle mount. This silver bangle is from the 20th or 21st century, while the jade panel dates back to the Yuan period, 1271 to 1368. The jade depicts a goose in a lotus pond with lotus flowers. Originally, such jade plaques were likely sewn into fabric and worn around the waist. The appraiser estimated the jade panel alone to be worth
At auction, I would estimate something like this at $4,000 to $6,000.
Good. I didn't know. I was hoping between 5 and 10.
I can't wait to see what this does. I think that's the biggest question mark.
Our guest shared the sentimental value of a table and a high chair that have been in their family for generations. This table was a fixture in their grandmother's house, adorned with trinkets and a nightlight.
The high chair usually sat in the den.
When was your mama born?
1908.
1908.
The appraiser noted that both pieces likely date back to the late 19th or early 20th century.
They both date from a similar time period, from the 1880s up until about the 1920s. Each of them is about that, but could fall into that category. Yeah.
This table bears a label from the Wolverine Manufacturing Company in Detroit, Michigan, known for its quality furniture. The table's standout feature is its barley twist leg, named after a twisted candy popular in the 19th century. This high chair, with its pressed back, gives the illusion of hand-carved detailing, but is actually created using a roller die. Exploring the high chair's functionality, the guest and appraiser were surprised to discover it was a convertible piece, possibly transforming into other forms. The appraiser estimated that each item could fetch at
$300, maybe even $400 a piece, depending on who was the makeup in the audience that day.
I can't wait to see what this does. I think that's the biggest question mark.
Our guest, a stamp collector, found this doll in a dumpster. This item is an early 1800 to 1850 peg wooden doll, measuring 1.25 inches long with a yellow tuck comb.
She has a yellow comb, hence the name Yellow Tuck Comb.
Items like these were made in Sonnenberg, Germany and Grunenthal, Austria. What made this particular piece rare is its size, and being an early piece found in a dumpster, it's still in good condition. Fascinatingly, all parts of her body are jointed, both the hips and arms, making this wonderful.
Everything in her has these little mortise and tenon joints.
Such a delightful item, an antique doll with a yellow tuck comb, will sell for
between $1,200 and approximately $1,500.
Oh, that's good.
So good.
Wow. Not bad for something rescued from the trash.
Not bad for the trash.
On a family road trip, this guest's dad found this discarded art and rescued it from a trash can. The guest inherited it from him after his passing. It is an oil painting with a paper collage treated by John Ray. Ray was an American artist, author, and illustrator known popularly for his illustrations of children's books. He wrote the book titled The New Adventures of Alice as a sequel to the works of Lewis Carroll. This illustration is a combination of Alice's adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass.
Then in the beginning of Through the Looking Glass, Alice has an encounter with the Red Queen, so he's kind of combined the end of one book with the beginning of the next book.
Bearing the artist's signature, this wonderful illustration will sell at auction for about
$10,000.
Wow.
Not bad for something rescued from the trash.
Not bad for the trash.
The guest displayed her mother's favorite doll, likely given by her father. The item was identified as a Babyland rag doll made in New York by the Horseman Company. These dolls were known for their durable cloth construction and came in various styles, including both painted and printed faces. This particular printed face doll, with original cotton clothes, was made between 1893 and 1910. The other side of the doll revealed a stiff bear, making it a unique topsy-turvy doll. Initially, the appraiser thought the doll might be homemade, but closer inspection revealed factory-done stitching. The historical value and craftsmanship made it desirable among doll collectors today. How much would the amazing doll be worth?
I think this doll is worth between $850 and $1,000.
Although they look like jingle bells, these bells aren't. They are in fact called sleigh bells, and they are worn on horses during parades. These sleigh bells date back to the early 20th century, and we have 3 examples here. These bells are not always used by horses. In fact, some cultures believe they're sacred items. Nevertheless, this doesn't decrease their value, and at auction, they would retail for
$500 to $700.
That's
Our guest shared the intriguing story behind this salesman's case, which was found by their father when he bought a candy shop in the Black Hills. Initially destined for the trash, the case was saved and rediscovered by the guest while searching through the garage. The appraiser explained that this case was used by salesmen to showcase a full range of products to candy shops. It contains a variety of items, some of which are no longer in production, dating it to the late 1950s, based on the packaging. At auction, the appraiser estimated that the case could fetch at
$500 to $700.
Our guest discovered a remarkable piece while shopping at a Salvation Army, a jar and cover with exquisite craftsmanship and historical significance. The appraiser identified the jar as a product of the Royal Porcelain Works in Berlin, Germany. This attribution was confirmed by the clear mark and the faint trace of a scepter mark on the piece. This jar's design features delicate gilt painting characteristic of the Gilded Age, along with a rich blue ground that was popular in the late 19th century. The meticulous hand-painted enamel colors and the elaborate gilding showcase the skill and attention to detail of the craftsman. Despite being made using conventional slip casting techniques, the jar is a testament to the artistry and craftsmanship of its time. Its excellent condition further enhances its value and appeal to collectors. Given its quality and historical significance, the appraiser estimated its auction value to be
Would be between $1,000 and $1,500.
Not bad for $5.
Not bad at all.
We are presented with a pocket watch, which originally belonged to the guest's father's uncle. This is an LC Grand Jean watch, a very fine Swiss maker, also known as a reputed maker of complicated timepieces. This item was made circa 1890 with a stamped case and has a small break in the center of the dial above the subdial. This 18-karat gold Swiss high-grade minute repeating pocket watch would have a price of
a retail value on this piece is going to be about $12,000.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine finding the work of a master painter in the dumpster. That's what today's guest happened to come across in the form of a poster created by Hans Christiansen, who was a very famous German illustrator between the late 1800s and early 1900s. The poster served to raise awareness for a magazine,
which was an art movement that really got its name in the 1920s.
And it was one of the early forms of advertising used since there were no digital devices at the time. The magazine in question was prominent during the Art Nouveau period, and it is proof of the fine work done by Hans. At auction, this poster, with its frame and qualities, would retail at
auction, I'd estimated between $1,000 and $1,500.
Sweet.
Remembrance gifts come in different forms with different meanings to people. We have a picture frame on the show, which was a remembrance gift belonging to the guest's granddad. This is a Tiffany picture frame made circa 1925. A square frame made out of bronze adorned with enamel little inset panels. On the back of this item, it says "For Real" and Louis C. Tiffany Furnaces, indicating its authenticity. Despite old age, remaining in fabulous condition, this picture frame with enameled inset panels would have an auction estimate of
I would recommend an auction estimate of $5,000 to $8,000.
Wow, I had no idea. That's amazing.
Guest adores costume sketches, and a friend from the Hollywood costume industry gifted this sketch to him. It's a costume sketch from Sunset Boulevard, designed by the legendary Edith Head. We often debate whether sketches are from production or her fashion shows. This one is clearly from production.
One other thing that we see with Edith Head sketches is oftentimes you see nice, big, bold Edith Head autographs, and we don't have that here.
The back reveals intricate details such as fabric, cost, and production time. The attached swatch captures a pivotal scene in the movie. Sunset Boulevard portrays Gloria Swanson's journey from the silent era to the talkies era. This sketch likely depicts her character's iconic return to Paramount Pictures. With 11 Oscar nominations and 3 wins, the movie is a classic. In the world of costume collecting, sketches generally sell for under $500, but iconic pieces like this one could command significantly higher prices.
And so I think conservatively, I would put an estimate of $10,000 to $15,000. And I wouldn't be shocked if it soared past that 15 towards the 20 mark.
More than I thought, so that's nice.
This silver necklace, dating from around the 1950s, is a remarkable piece that's rich in history and artistic value.
The tree of knowledge of good and evil, Genesis 2:7. My mother was a librarian, so she kept notes about a lot of things.
Interestingly, this piece symbolizes deep cultural and religious themes and was crafted by the renowned American Jewish artist Isla Shore, known for his detailed and whimsical designs.
So he was born in Poland. He studied on a grant in Paris and fled Paris with his wife at the beginning of the war to this country.
Quite unique, this necklace represents the Torah and the Tree of Life with intricate depictions of Adam and Eve. This piece, signed I. Shore, New York, also features a dove, a common motif in his work. The necklace showcases exquisite cut silverwork, a testament to Shore's versatile artistry, which spanned silver creations, ceremonial objects, wood engravings, and paintings. However, this necklace represents a piece of cultural and artistic heritage that's worth
market value today, I'd say between $5,000 and $7,000. A beautiful piece.
Well, thank you so much.
This painting showcases wildlife, exuding grandeur and serenity. It was inherited by the guest from her great aunt. The painting was done by Rosa Bonheur. Bonheur was a French artist best known for her animal paintings.
She also did some sculpture, and she was best known for doing horses.
It bears her initials, RB, authenticating this piece. Dating back to the second half of the 19th century, this painting depicts a donkey posing majestically, meticulously colored and detailed. Although made over a century ago, the painting is well preserved. Its value at auction would be
It would be something like $10,000 to $15,000.
Oh, wow. That's great.
This Belle Epoque diamond necklace is a stunning example of early 20th century craftsmanship. It's characterized by its elegant, airy design and intricate details.
To start with, we have this beautiful bezel set diamond chain, which is a really simple concept.
This beautiful piece features bezel set diamonds, a design that protects both the diamond and the wearer, preventing snagging. The necklace, with its pineapple-shaped pendant, boasts approximately 12 carats of diamonds in total, all set in platinum. Originating around 1915, this necklace exemplifies the Belle Epoque style, known for its light, open structures and exquisite handmade artistry.
And very open, and this is really the typical look of a Belle Epoque piece of jewelry.
Despite lacking a hallmark, its American origins are evident, likely hailing from prominent jewelry-making cities, and due to its enduring beauty, would sell for.
Well, I would say today, the insurance replacement value of something like this would be anywhere between $50,000 and $70,000.
Really? Wow.
On the table, 2 eye-catching silver bracelets catch the light. The guest received these bracelets from his parents, who were jewelry collectors and acquired them in early 1970s. These silver bracelets come from Native American culture and were made by Charles Loloma, a Native American jeweler. He is known for popularizing the use of gold and gemstones not typically found in Hopi jewelry.
His influence and his impact on jewelry altogether has just been unprecedented.
These bracelets feature common elements of Loloma's work, such as the use of turquoise and silver. Looking closely at the inner circle of the bracelets,
it's sort of like a landscape, but there's a fluidity to the piece.
We can see beautiful textures of the items that improve with age. So, at auction, these bracelets aging beautifully would fetch
Probably in the retail marketplace, about $25,000.
Whoa. Can I sit down? Only kidding. Wow.
We have an array of visually stunning guitars. The guest used to own the company that makes these guitars. He bought Rickenbacker International Corporation from his father in 1984. Rickenbacker International Corporation, a string instrument manufacturing company, was founded by Adolph Rickenbacker and George Beauchamp, a popular inventor duo known for creating the first electric guitar in 1931.
The earliest steps in the making of the guitar are somewhat automated. However, the vast majority of the product.
Today's guitar makers have improved their production methods using automation to cut the wood, but most of the design work after automation is done by hand. They make the guitar strings with Caribbean rosewood and the bodies with hard rock maple. These guitars have vintage quality and high prestige, making us wonder how much these prestigious guitars would fetch at auction. A beauty book of timeless grace, where secrets of care and style embrace. A hairdresser received a book from a friend thinking it might be the first African-American beauty book called Textbook of Madam C.J. Walker Schools of Beauty Culture. At first, it seemed like a regular, not very valuable textbook. The book's early focus on African-American hair care sparked significant interest. Upon closer examination, it was the first edition. It was the Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Manual. This book is the first for styling African-American women's hair, containing a wide range of hair care products. Although some of these products are no longer available, many of the methods and remedies remain relevant today. Madam C.J. Walker, originally named Sarah Breedlove, was born on a Louisiana plantation in 1867 to a family of former slaves. She became the first American self-made female millionaire according to the Guinness Book of World Records. Her company, which makes products for African-American women, still operates today. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"The first edition of this book is scarce enough that at retail, this book would sell for $10,000 plus."
$10,000? Are you serious?
I am serious.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, I'm not.
A towering Schneider glass masterpiece with orange and yellow hues rests elegantly on a stunning blue base. This 33-inch Art Deco gem captures the essence of 1930s craftsmanship with a whisper of the Cluthra style. Schneider glass, made by the renowned Schneider brothers, who initially worked at the Daum factory before establishing their own company, was known for its exquisite art glass.
Well, this glass is made by Schneider.
Right.
It says Schneider France here, which tells us it was made for export.
During World War I, the brothers shifted their focus from art glass to producing glass for hospitals. This amazing piece entered the family in the late 1940s when the guest's father purchased it from an antique store in New Jersey. Despite a minor chip on the top, often referred to as a flea bite, which can be buffed out, the glass remains in excellent condition. For insurance purposes, its value is estimated between
of $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow.
Well, good. That's good to know.
Our guest inherited the item from their father, who was a hoarder and kept it in a trunk along with other odds and ends. Our guest discovered it after his father passed away, as his brother took what he wanted from the trunk.
This was in there. I have no idea where he got it, because to my knowledge, he never left North Dakota.
The appraiser identified the item as a Colt third model Dragoon revolver manufactured between 1851 and 1861. Based on its serial number, the appraiser estimated it was produced around the mid-1850s, possibly 1855. This revolver is an early Hartford model from Colt's manufacturing days in Hartford, Connecticut. Colt originally started his business in Paterson, New Jersey in 1836 before moving to Hartford. The revolver is a 6-shot black powder percussion revolver used for both military and civilian purposes. Despite some condition issues, such as a crack in the grip and a missing screw, the most interesting aspect of the revolver is a piece of wood jammed in it, known as the wedge, which holds the barrel to the cylinder pin. The appraiser noted that while this piece of wood is unusual, it has kept the revolver together over time. In terms of value, the appraiser estimated that the revolver would fetch at
$2,500 to $3,500.
Well, good. That's good to know.
This pristine Shirley Temple doll, still nestled in its original box, is a remarkable relic from 1934. With its curls perfectly intact, the original pin securely fastened, and a silk label confirming its authenticity as an ideal Shirley Temple doll, it embodies a piece of nostalgic Americana. The doll's journey began as a cherished Christmas gift to the guest's mother in 1934. Treasuring the doll, she never played with it and allowed her daughter to admire it only once or twice a year.
And when I was growing up, I wanted to play with it, and she said absolutely not.
This reverence ensured the doll's immaculate preservation, keeping it in mint-in-box condition over the decades. Its exceptional condition, with the sentimental story behind it, enhances its worth. Today, the doll's value has soared, with an estimated market price between...
On today's market, your doll would sell between $500 and $650.
You don't see paintings like this one every day. That's why it's so special, because instead of focusing on lifestyle and scenery painting, Rolf Armstrong loved to paint patriotic pictures of women.
Well, what you've brought today is a painting by Rolf Armstrong, who was a very important artist with a company called Brown and Bigelow, and they did calendar art.
What's even more special is that, in contrast to using his imagination,
created a name, Armstrong Girls, for these beautiful women that he would use.
Rolf used live subjects to properly depict the situation of his paintings. The painting is a tribute to a nurse during one of the world's significant wars. Like every great painter, Rolf has his signature on this painting. As an original piece of art, and due to its unique nature, this painting would auction at,
and would probably at auction bring in the $5,000 to $10,000 range.
Oh, that would be nice.
This captivating two-sided watercolor by Mississippi artist Williams Hollingworth, dating from the mid to late 1930s, showcases his extraordinary talent and vibrant color palette. One side depicts an urban scene, while the other presents a serene countryside landscape painted with purples, yellows, and gold. Known for his mood swings and struggles with depression, the artist tragically took his own life in 1944 at the age of 34.
And in the early 40s, his father had passed away and he became depressed and he committed suicide.
It came into the family when Hollingsworth and Carl Wolfe paid rent with artwork in Jackson, Mississippi. This piece is uniquely framed to showcase both sides, highlighting Hollingworth's versatility. The urban scene bears his signature, suggesting it was his favored perspective. This watercolor stands as a testament to Hollingworth's artistic legacy, estimated to fetch at auction.
I would expect to see an estimate on it of between $8,000 and $12,000.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our guest brought in items from Frank Lloyd Wright, sharing that he worked with Wright starting in 1953 as an apprentice. He mentioned helping to finish Wright's projects after his death in 1959, including supervising the construction of the Guggenheim Museum in New York. Our guest shared a photo of himself from that era, with Central Park in the background. Wright once praised the guest's drawing skills, calling them a gift due to their unique sparkle. Our guest presented a modern reprint of a folio designed by Wright in 1910. The folio includes illustrations like the Winslow House in Oak Park. Our guest also brought a craft brown paper cover with an original Wright drawing, which...
Come on. And if I'd left it there, it would just been thrown away.
The appraiser valued the folio at $1,000 to $2,000. The original Wright drawing was appraised at...
That is probably worth $8,000 to $10,000.
Oh my God. Come on.
This vase, acquired by a military family in the 1960s, is known as Corio Celadon glazed vase. But it dropped on the floor and was stepped upon, which damaged the edge, though it was roughly repaired. Celadon is a type of color made using iron and glaze during the Corio period. The Corio period is from the 10th to the 14th century, dating about 1200. Though the damage can be restored, the auction estimate for this vase in its present condition is...
This can be restored, and it would still make around $400 to $600 in an auction sale. It would have been worth in the $4,000 to $6,000 range.
Our guest introduced a cherished family heirloom, a quilt crafted with care by their great-great-grandmother in the year 1903. This piece of history reflects the artistry and skill of generations. The appraiser examined the quilt closely, pointing out its intricate details. Each county and its respective seat were meticulously stitched, showcasing dedication that went into creating this historical artifact. The inclusion of the railroads, highlighted by thicker black lines, is a nod to the significance of railway networks during that era, serving as vital lifelines for transportation and connectivity. In terms of value, the appraiser estimated that this unique quilt could fetch a significant sum, valued at
$800 and $1,200, but here in Arkansas, it could go for as much as $2,000 to $3,000.
The guest brought an item he inherited from his great-grandfather. This is a fire trumpet, which was for a festival in 1865.
New York Times said it was the most splendid and imposing organized march of the time.
A major event which involved fire companies and firemen at the time. The company, Fairmount, paired up with a group of firemen from Washington, and they marched together at the event where the trumpet was used.
The actual parade itself was about 20 miles.
It's silver-plated and a typical piece that would grow to be a family heirloom. This trumpet, made out of silver with inscriptions about what it was used for, would cost about...
I would say you want to insure it for around $5,000.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
So it's a really nice piece.
One of the rarest models you'll ever see. That's what this Royal Dalton bear figure is.
And certainly the red part of it would be the flambe glaze, and it is marked Royal Dalton, which certainly makes it easy to identify as Royal Dalton.
Royal Dalton is one of the few luxury brands known for high-quality collectibles, and this one is no different, as it is unique and appealing.
And what's nice is the variety of glazes as we go around the piece that Dalton has incorporated, and this lovely little cub that's hiding in the rear.
The color combination used on the bear is alluring, and the attention to detail is exquisitely appealing. This particular bear figure is hard to come by and is highly sought after by antique lovers. Thanks to its creator, this bear figurine would retail at the auction price of...
If it would bring in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $7,000. Wow.
This guest presented a family heirloom in the form of nécessaire, which is a testament to the elegance of the Art Deco period.
It's pretty, it's very pretty, and it has some really nice features.
This compact was designed to be worn on the wrist, and it features compartments for money, a handkerchief, or even cigarettes. The nasir is crafted from 14-karat yellow gold, adorned with delicate enameling and highlighted by a diamond-set clasp.
It is an American mark. It is 14-karat yellow gold.
Despite some minor wear, the enameling is in excellent condition, a rarity for pieces that have endured the test of time. The marks inside, including 14K and a serial number, suggest it is an American creation. Likely made in the 1920s, its quintessentially Art Deco design remains highly desirable and would sell for.
It's lovely. I would think that at auction it would be a desirable piece. I would probably say about $4,000 to $6,000. Yeah, it's pretty. It's very sweet. I'm speechless. No, it's wonderful.
Passed down through generations, this watercolor by Jacob Mentel embodies a rich family history and the distinctive charm of American folk art. Jacob Mentel, born in Kassel, Germany in 1763, is renowned for his profile portraits of people in Pennsylvania and Indiana. This piece, likely created around 1810, features a young woman depicted against a quintessential Pennsylvanian landscape, with farm buildings and vibrant roses symbolizing her youth.
The frame is not original, so this would look nice in a nice early painted frame or a gilt frame, don't you think, Nancy?
Yeah.
Despite some condition issues, including in-painting, tears, and old repairs, the painting remains an important example of Mentel's work that would fetch.
This picture, in this condition, is worth about $25,000.
Wow.
Is that pretty? Are you happy with that?
Yes, that's very surprising.
This colorful painting beautifully captures the allure of nature. The painting was purchased by a guest at a church bazaar while she was on vacation at Lake Louise, Canada.
When I looked at it and I thought, oh great, this is a picture of Lake Louise, that it's just sort of memorable for me to have a picture of Lake Louise.
Furthermore, the painting bears the signature of its maker, Marion Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh was an American plein air painter in watercolors and oils.
And she painted a great deal up in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California.
Characterized by a mountain backdrop, trees, lake, and bright natural colors, it wonderfully depicts Lake Louise. Being an oil painting, it is very well done and in terrific condition, making it highly desirable. Taking into account its condition and the artistry of its maker, this painting would fetch a value of,
And this would probably be worth about $30,000 to $40,000 today.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, she was a good artist and very
wonderful.
This elegant Newport, Rhode Island furniture piece dates back to around 1770, crafted during the Queen Anne period. Its timeless design reflects the exquisite craftsmanship of the 18th century. Characterized by a distinctive carved scallop shell, bold cabriole legs, and a uniquely detachable leg construction for easier shipping, it is identified as a piece of Goddard Townsend furniture, highly prized among collectors.
There were two families of cabinet makers working in Newport in the 18th century, the Goddards and the Townsend.
Originally, it served as the base section for a highboy or high chest standing about 7 feet tall when converted into a dressing table or server. The guest bought this piece at auction on Cape Cod about 8 years ago, appealing especially to collectors of Rhode Island furniture. At auction, its value is estimated between.
This is a piece that I would expect at auction would sell today for $3,500 to $5,000 to a collector of.
Wonderful.
These artifacts were passed down from the guest's grandfather, who traveled extensively and collected them from Alaska between 1908 and 1910. They've been in the owner's possession for 45 years. Appraiser identifies their origins as the Northwest Coast, possibly Haida or Tlingit.
The bowl is based on a grease dish. They had a big tradition of doing oil bowls. This is probably late 19th century.
One piece resembles a grease dish, adorned with bear animations and abalone inlays. Another item is a feast ladle, showcasing intricate carvings from the late 19th century.
And it's interesting that the items that people would start to carve for tourists were fairly iconic items that they'd used in the tribal use.
The piece de la résistance is a rattle depicting shamanistic icons, estimated to be from the 19th century. Appraiser values the bowl at
$8,000 to $12,000.
and the ladle at.
Again, very comfortably $4,000 to $6,000.
Good.
Okay.
But the rattle steals the show with an estimated value of.
I would be, again, very comfortable at auction, estimating this at $40,000 to $60,000.
You've got to be kidding.
Before we had jars used to keep sugar, there were sugar chests. Sugar chests were valuable possessions used in the 1800s to store sugar.
These compartments inside, they were actually to store the cones, the sugar cones. And that sugar was a valuable commodity, and we needed a storage place for it.
At the time, sugar was a prized commodity, and so to keep it from being stolen or used unnecessarily, these chests were used. This particular chest was made in 1820 in Virginia, and it represents the furniture-making prowess of the American people.
I want to tell you that this was made in Virginia probably around 1820 or so. It has yellow pine secondary wood. We can see this nice chamfering on the bottom.
The chest has an appealing shine, which is a distinguishing feature.
I think, Sarah, that these legs are quite short, and actually, even though you have this nice color coming up, I think that they've probably been shortened by about an inch to an inch and a half.
As a timeless piece of furniture, this sugar chest would auction at.
And I say that this piece is worth about $4,500.
That's great. That's
you pretty
wonderful.
happy?
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Our guest purchased the painting at a yard sale for $5. This painting was used in an ugly frame that didn't fit it, but the guest noticed it was on wood. The appraiser identified the artist as Oliver Dennett Grover, a Midwest painter from Chicago who studied in Europe. This painting is a Venetian scene created in 1885 when Grover was 24 years old. The appraiser highlighted Grover's skillful use of sparing paint to capture light and color.
Even so that he just barely covers the board that it's on. You can actually see the grain of the board coming through here. Yeah. And so he's a very talented artist.
This painting is very dirty, and cleaning it would reveal much brighter colors. The appraiser pointed out that the true colors could be seen where the frame had protected part of the painting. Our guest did not bargain for the painting, feeling $5 was a fair price. The appraiser estimated the painting's value at,
I would say we'd probably get about $3,000 to $5,000 for this painting at auction.
Cool. Cool.
This buffalo robe, purchased for $300, was acquired from a handyman who had kept it in his closet for over 30 years, passing it down from his parents. This robe, featuring a box and border design, was used by the Northern Plain Indians in the late 18th and early 19th centuries for shelter. While the robe's design is stylistically accurate, it's been identified as a replica due to certain inconsistencies, such as repairs made with cotton thread instead of sinew, and a questionable tanning method. Authentic buffalo robes with historical significance, like one dated 1820 to 1840, can fetch 7 figures, highlighting the rarity and historical value of genuine pieces. Despite its inauthenticity, the robe serves as a valuable decorative piece, valued at,
I think this piece is easily worth $1,000 to $2,000.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Guest brought in one of the monumental oil landscape paintings by Wilson Hurley, whose family and her family were next-door neighbors. Wilson Hurley specialized in oil painting and landscapes after he moved from Oklahoma to Ohio and fell in love with a vast landscape. No doubt this painting is Hurley's because it has his first name signed on it. An interesting bit of this painting is that it was made in 1960 when Hurley became interested in the relationship between technology and nature. This is emphasized in the painting by the landscape and a visible cloud above a tall, winged piece of technology. Hurley was considered a Renaissance kind of man, and he was into law and was also an engineer. Also, he has a studio in Oklahoma, and his paintings are found in museums in Ohio. The painting is in fairly good condition, as there is a bit of grime, crackle, and capping here and there. In an auction, this painting would fetch.
This painting might bring $10,000 to $15,000.
Really? Even that is, for Wilson Hurley, it's small.
Our guest bought this Theodore Duret book at an auction, attracted by its contents rather than its poor exterior condition. The appraiser opened the book cautiously, revealing it to be a 1909 German edition of Theodore Duret's text on Impressionism. This book is part of a limited edition with 1,000 copies made, and the guest copy is number 514. Inside the book are original etchings by renowned artists, including Camille Pissarro, Monet, and Renoir. Our guest purchased the book as part of a lot of 3 art books for $100 to $200. The appraiser noted the unique art paper and the original etchings as key factors in the book's value. Despite the poor binding, the book's value is in the etchings, with a typical auction price of
for around $7,000 to $8,000.
Wow, $7,000 to $8,000.
A family heirloom with a rich history was brought to the show. General Eliphalet Whittlesey, a Civil War Union brevet brigadier general, once owned this item too. This is a federal inlaid mahogany sideboard made in Connecticut about 1785 to 1795. Before the early 18th century, specific rooms were not provided for items like these in America.
But by the late 18th century, in federal America, when this was made, pieces were made for specific rooms.
These forms of furniture evolved from England, called slab tables, whether marble slabs or wooden slabs on 4 legs. It's such an item to display treasure, something to show wealth on, and it also features Chippendale-style brasses and oval pinwheel motifs on top of the legs.
And then you have these satinwood cuffs. In today's marketplace, sideboards are very popular.
At auction, this federal sideboard, made out of mahogany wood with a whimsical Connecticut type of light wood inlay on the legs, will have a price of...
This one has lots of nice inlay, very nice details, and its value in the range of about $20,000 to $25,000. Are you pretty happy?
Oh, yeah.
A doll was brought by the guest that had been in her family for years. It was purchased by her great-grandparents during a trip out west. The item was identified as a Kiowa doll cradle from around 1885. It was made by a Kiowa woman in the area of Anadarko, Oklahoma, and was a replica of full-size baby cradles. The cradle required reassembly, with parts like the sides, crossbar, and top flap needing to be reattached using hide lacing. The painting and beading were identified as very Kiowa, with the beading being particularly intricate and time-consuming. While the porcelain doll itself was not of significant value, the cradle had cultural and historical significance. Despite the item's current state of disrepair, the value suggested was
$10,000 to $12,000.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Bought at an estate sale for $1 per piece, these beautiful painted tiles are brought for appraisal. Made by Weller, who was famous for working with scenic decors, these tiles are different from one another. Also, these tiles were made by the Weller Company in Ohio to propagate a platform for scenic decoration, hence the artist's signature at the bottom of the tiles. The most beautiful of these tiles is the smaller one with the peacock theme. Behind it says Weller Art Tile, which was the only signature that the Weller pottery was known by at the time. However, the latest designs by Weller are often known by the signature of the artist, Samuel Weller. A conservative price for these 3 tiles in auction would be...
I would have to say the 3 tiles are worth somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000.
Oh my God, I wouldn't have had any idea.
Over 90 years ago, this guest received a masterful piece from a young artist named Rockwell. This talented artist started his art career at the age of 14. He was born in 1894. He dropped out of high school in 1910 to enroll in art school. He is associated with Saturday Evening Post covers, a popular show at the time. The painting was done on an oil canvas showing a woman with her padded stockings and brush trying to imitate a more stylish model in a picture, and her faithful dog who's probably waiting for her to finish posing. Rockwell was a master of telling simple stories with innocence. In the late 1990s, his work started to bring in 6 figures, so this painting in today's market will be worth
Replacement value on this of about $500,000.
Better get more insurance.
This is a child's swan sleigh. The guest bought it at a rummage sale for $35. It's an American pine sculpture with its maker unknown because it wasn't mass-produced at the time.
It was made lovingly by someone to give to a child.
Beautifully carved and constructed in terms of folk sculpture, it is utilitarian. Featuring a screw to make the head stronger so that when held during a ride it doesn't break. And it would have been a unique piece if not that bigger sizes of this have been made.
Another sled, same form, surfaced.
Oh.
And it's approximately twice the size of this one.
Interestingly, it also has a metal brace inside curved with the shape of the wing. Also beautifully shaped wood runners and a metal handle. This swan sleigh ride made out of love would cost
Somewhere around $20,000 to $30,000.
Oh my gosh. I could just cry. I had no idea.
Wow. Well, now I'm going to give them to my daughter.
Okay. Our guest shared that the items were given to their mother by their grandmother when she married into a family in Atlanta. The grandmother acquired them from an antique dealer in Atlanta around 1940. The appraiser examined the items and identified a mark on the bottom, a blue JP mark.
It's the mark of a Paris porcelain maker called Jacob Petit.
Jacob Petit operated just outside Paris from the 1830s to the third quarter of the 19th century, and his porcelain was popular in England and the United States. The appraiser noted that the items have a Southern American aesthetic.
They could also possibly have been in the southern states since before the Civil War.
However, they were likely made around 1850, during the peak of Jacob Petit's production. These items are ornamental, large, and well-crafted, with hand-painted floral designs and intact gilding. Despite some minimal restoration work, the items are in good condition. The appraiser estimated that if they were in an antique shop today, they would be priced at least
$4,000 or $4,500.
Wow. Well, now I'm going to give them to my daughter.
Okay.
Presented on the show is a vibrant vintage painting. Our guest inherited the piece from a friend who purchased it while in France. On the lower right side of the painting is the signature of its creator, Leopold Survage. Survage was a Russian-French surrealist painter of Finnish origin.
And while he's not a household name like Man Ray or Rene Magritte or Salvador Dali, this painting really speaks to the style of the surrealist movement.
This painting depicts a landscape of dreams and nightmares, featuring disembodied figures. It was created to convey abstract images in a variety of colors.
Surrealism was a very abstract and very psychological and interesting movement.
The works of Leopold are very rare, and this tremendous piece is a beauty to behold. At auction, due to its rarity and significance as a symbol of the surrealist movement, it is valued at
I would value this piece at probably between $3,000 and $5,000.
Our guest brought in a Sharps & Hankins Civil War rifle with a 32 3/4-inch barrel and a hexagon bore. This rifle's serial number is 1, making it a significant American firearm. The appraiser noted that this is the first model produced out of 8,000 Sharps & Hankins.
In 1862, Sharps & Hankins joined together.
This rifle features factory engraving and a longer barrel, distinguishing it from later models. The appraiser explained the unique loading mechanism where the barrel slides forward to load the cartridge. This rifle also has a unique butt plate and an early functional safety lever, which is intact. Our guest received the rifle as a wedding present from his father. Despite some condition issues, the rifle has historical significance and a retail value of about
Today would retail for about $10,000. And to me, it's more historically significant than that, but that's where it would bring in today's market.
It's not every day we come across a painting of Native American origins, and this painting is one of such rarities, as it was painted by an Indian woman. This painting came from the Cannamall region, North Dakota.
Probably the most interesting point about the painting, it comes from a long history of pictographic art by the Plains Indians.
And depicts an Ogallala chief holding onto a horse. Fascinatingly, this painting was done with watercolor, and the Indian is facing you instead of in profile, which isn't typical of earlier Indian works. Another great part about this painting is that it includes a photo of the woman who painted it. This painting is extremely rare as it was done by a Native American woman, and as such, it would be valued at
$2,500 to $3,500. Oh, wow. That's wonderful.
One of these prints looks like a work of art by Albrecht Dürer, but in reality, it is just a reproduction.
In fact, it's not a print by Albrecht Dürer. It's a reproduction after an engraving by Dürer.
While the other print is an original work by Dutch painter Lucas van Leyden. Leyden and Douwer were contemporaries and well-respected painters, and even though the Douwer engraving is a reproduction, these prints are a testament to their respective painting brilliance. The Leyden print was made around the 16th century. As these are original prints, these items would retail for
$700 to $1,000. So I'm sorry they're not both right, but
oh yeah, nice is that one.
At least we have one. Yes, it's too bad.
Discover the art of brotherly love and fraternal bonding with this beautiful Masonic quilt. The quilt was made by this guest's great-great-grandmother after the American Civil War, and her husband, a Mason, imparted some information to help her identify as one when he left for the war. Fortunately, when Sherman's men passed through Orangeburg, the information came in handy and saved her life.
She identified herself as the wife of a Mason. They gave the order not to burn her house.
Interestingly, the Freemasons have been intertwined with American history since its beginning, and many presidents of the United States have identified with the group, notably Gerald Ford. Ford, an American politician, served as the 38th President of the United States from 1974 to 1977. Depicted on this quilt are Masonic symbols, beautifully quilted with well-preserved colorings. This quilt, in such excellent condition and with a rich provenance, would sell at auction for
between $6,000 and $8,000.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful.
Probably to some Masons, but it's a wonderful quilt.
Our guest bought the item at a de-acquisition sale in the Angels Attic Museum in Santa Monica. Our guest reassembled and glued them back together as best they could. The appraiser begins by examining the outside and noting the guest's main question: what is it? Our guest knows it was made in Granada, Spain, and possibly for or by Castro Fernandez. This item is made of painted plaster with low-fired enamels and features intarsia work.
And the basic design we can see also is Islamic influence. The Islamic movement was in Spain at a very early date in the 8th century.
The appraiser notes that the item has a label mentioning a Spanish maker who also worked in Germany. This item is thought to be a model of rooms from the Alhambra Palace, reflecting Moorish architecture. The inside of the item is decorated with incised plasterwork and alabaster elements. The appraiser suggests the item might have been a tourist souvenir or a piece for a small museum to
put in a gallery so people could come in and see what Moorish architecture was.
This item has significant damage, but the guest paid $225 for it. The appraiser estimates the value of this piece at
I would say $5,000 to $7,000.
Oh my goodness, really?
I'm serious.
Even in this state.
The Native Americans were said to be master craftsmen, and that is very much evident in this bowl and these spoons presented today. These pieces were crafted by a Native American tribe called the Haida. On the spoons are depictions of various Native American stylized designs, and they were used for personal and ceremonial purposes. The bowl is a grease bowl, with the oil used to stylize it coming from a special kind of fish.
Some of the oil of a fish called the eulachon. And the eulachon is the very thin, long fish. It's also called the candlefish. It has so much oil. I think 15% of the body's composition is oil.
And it has brass tacks around its outside. This bowl and spoon's date of craftsmanship can be set to circa 1850 based on the designs on the bowl. The level of detail and craftsmanship of these pieces is quite unique and represents the Native American people, and as such, they would be valued individually at
about $10,000 to $12,000. That's a very nice price.
Our guest shared the fascinating story behind these spurs, which have been passed down in their family for generations. These spurs were originally purchased by their great-grandfather at an auction in 1915. The man had fled Ireland after allegedly killing someone, then moved to Texas, where he reportedly committed another crime. Seeking refuge in the Kiamichi Mountains in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma, he was eventually discovered and
he was plowing his field, and the Texas Rangers came for him. He went for his gun, and the Texas Rangers went for him.
These spurs, made by John Robert McChesney, a renowned spur maker, are a rare and valuable example of his work. Known as gal leg or lady leg spurs, they are unique for having double-mounted double gal legs, a heart button, and a locking rowel, which McChesney patented. The appraiser explained that McChesney made his first pair of spurs in Indian Territory in 1887, then moved to Texas before returning to Oklahoma in 1910. These spurs could have been made during any of these periods. In pristine condition and with such a rich history, the appraiser estimated their value to be
$2,500 to $3,500 easily, especially in this condition. But it's hard to beat a story like that.
That's great. Thank you very much.
This guest's great-grandfather was a miner in Grass Valley, California. He made this ring from a stone he had mined, and it was passed down to our guest today.
Belonged to my husband's great-grandfather, and that the stone in it was gold that great-grandfather had mined. He was a miner in Grass Valley, California.
The stone he mined is native to California, known as gold in quartz. The gold ring is set with a rare quartz stone. The quartz has gold pieces embedded in it, making it a jeweler's favorite. It has a chasing and engraving design typical of the late 19th century. Along with the jewelry is a photograph of the guest's great-grandfather wearing the ring. The stone set in this ring makes it extremely unique and rare, putting the value of the ring at an estimate of
$1,900 for a ring like this with quartz and gold from the late California gold rush, the 1880s.
Well, that's great.
Our guest found the bear, along with several other toys, in a dumpster in Queens. They don't have any specific information about the bear's history. The appraiser identified the bear as a stiff bear, noting its white mohair fur, glass eyes, and the red tag, which indicates it is from the early 1930s. They also mentioned the bear's excellent overall condition. This bear has felt pads and is stuffed with excelsior, a type of wood wool. There's also a squeaker inside the bear, which is a charming detail. Despite being found in a dumpster, the bear is valued at
$3,000 to $5,000 price range for this little mohair bear. You're kidding. Not at all.
Okay, that's neat.
Yeah.
I'm real happy.
This guest acquired this piece at an auction for $50.
I got it at a local auction out of Wagner.
What did you pay for it?
I paid $50.
What attracted you to buy this thing?
Well, I was wanting to start doing my kitchen in primitives.
It is a piece of stoneware with an inscription on it. It is a brilliant example of regional stoneware. It originates from Sterrett, Alabama, and was crafted by an artist named J.B. Skinner. Sterrett is a small town at the end of the Appalachian Mountains, east of Birmingham, Alabama, known for producing stoneware like this one presented today. This piece features an incised decoration known as sgraffito incising.
It's very unusual to see this incised decoration. This kind of decoration is called sgraffito incising in the trade.
Dating back to the third quarter of the 19th century, this piece is presented in very good condition and is valued at
$2,500 to $3,500.
Awesome. Okay, that's neat.
Yeah.
I'm real happy.
You might be wondering how this flower pot is so well made and beautiful. Well, the beauty and craftsmanship of this flower pot can be attributed to Frederick Hurton Reed. Reed was a ceramicist and a major figure in the arts and crafts movement. This flower pot was designed using a decorative technique called the squeeze bag decoration.
Squeeze bag technique is executed as though a baker were decorating a cake. A bag, a slip trail bag, would be filled with this slip, and then the artist would squeeze it onto the surface of the pot.
While the body of the pot is covered with a stylized landscape of incised and painted trees. On the underside of the pot is the mark of the Avon Pottery Company, which Reed worked for at the time, along with his initials FH to signify he was the potter who made the piece for the company.
You've got a very cool jardiniere by the Vance Avon Pottery Company, designed and executed by Frederick Reed.
It's fascinating just how well made and intricate the designs of the flower pot or jardinier are. This piece, made by one of the most important figures of the arts and crafts movement, with its design and style, would be valued at
about $2,500 to $3,000.
Our guest shared a cherished family heirloom, a toy motorcycle that belonged to their great-grandfather in his youth. Passed down through the generations, it now holds sentimental value and memories of family history. Upon inspection, the appraiser identified the toy as a Harley-Davidson hill climber.
Harley-Davidson started in the early 20th century and probably the most famous American motorcycle company.
Used for racing up hills in the 1920s and 1930s, these toys were popular and often came in various colors, with the guest being a vibrant orange. Our guest's connection to the toy was heartfelt, and it was always on display at their grandmother's house, though they were only allowed to hold it gently, not play with it. The toy's condition and the family's care for it over the years have contributed to its preservation and value. In terms of value, the guest initially guessed around $1,000, considering the popularity of Harley-Davidsons and the toy's promotional nature. However, the appraiser estimated its value to be higher at
$2,000 to $2,500, and that's a fair market value, an auction estimate.
Wow.
Yeah.
The guest brought a tankard acquired by his father about 40 years ago. The cherished item was passed down through the family and inherited by the guest. The inscription on the back indicated it was a presentation piece made for the Hunter Arms Company.
We're pretty sure that they had competitions for shooting, maybe even for field trials with dogs.
Moreover, the appraiser noted the artist's signature, M. Timberlake, under the handle. May Timberlake was a fine decorator who worked for Roseville Pottery. Roseville made many presentation pieces for the Hunter Arms Company, likely between 1900 and 1910. The particular piece featured Roseville classic tankard shape. The appraiser praised the beautiful decoration work of May Timberlake. Despite minor flaws, the piece's auction value was estimated to be
Would sell for $1,000 to $1,500. Wow. Glad your wife had the hunch? I am too.
This guest found this ring while scavenging at the Milwaukee River. It is a French-cut diamond ring. The center stone is a French-cut synthetic sapphire, but the diamonds on the ring are real. The diamonds are set in white gold, which features a beautiful piercing work design. The intricate craftsmanship and unique design make it very desirable among collectors. The ring is a stunning piece, and in its decent shape, it will sell at auction for
$150 and $250. So I think I'll go down by the river. Thank you so much for coming to the Antiques Roadshow.